Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Following a weekend of, well, not a whole weekend really, of anyway, doing things in the garden, it's traditional to do an update. So this is the update on what Hannah and I got up to yesterday, Sunday, because basically we were out all day Saturday at the Orchid Society garden party, which was wonderful. Nice time had by all. But then it came to Sunday and we eventually got out in the garden. Unfortunately, we were just beaten back by the heat. So the big job got left unfinished. Hannah does not like leaving jobs unfinished. She did her best in the heat. She was wringing wet and it doesn't do her health any good. I mean, got a serious heart condition and everything, and you know, she gets busting headaches that turn into migraines, and you know, but she did what she could, and I will show you that in a minute. There's nothing to report over here apart from quite a lot of plants have died back to next to nothing. Quite a lot of my ferns have died back. The primroses have died back. They will all come back again. They're not lost, they're just gone for this year. And it's only the beginning of August. So be it. The geraniums are doing well. The tub full of marjoram has got lots of flowers on. The bees and some of the butterflies are visiting that okay. Well, we didn't actually do anything out here. My RO unit's still out here because I don't know whether I need any more water or not till I've finished watering the orchids. So that's still hanging on. We have a major big deal with the hose. It's sort of bursting inside somewhere. There's a major leak, and I'm thinking of doing away with the reel and just pull out the length of actual hose that I need to get from the tap to the far corner of the garden and round to the front for when I wash the car, and then just put the reel to one side and not use it. Just put the tap connector, you know, on the end of a length of hose basically, because it is a nuisance, but it's leaking like anything now. Right, so jobs that should have been done that didn't get done. Cutting all this ivy back. The lovely clematis that came up in the middle of that bush last year from nowhere just appeared. Hasn't appeared this year. We thought we'd lost it. It's not lost, it's moved. So it's sticking out this side of the undergrowth now, and up in there's another large bud. So it's not lost, it's just come over this side of the bush instead of the other side where it once was. Last time Hannah was here, she wanted to cut this bush right down so that I could see into the garden better from in the grow room, and we decided not to do it because it was in flower. Now it's not in flower, the flowers are finished, but time got short yesterday. Now what I got up to while it was in the shade was I've mended the hole in the fence. I know there's still a little gap underneath, but that area in the corner is still yet to be planted up, and quite a bit of the stuff that's going to get planted in there is already in pots, and as a consequence a hole will need to be dug to put the contents of the pot in. That's going to raise the soil level, so that little gap will be covered up in the end. But it was a little bit of a bodge job because we found out why the fence all rotted away and got broken at the bottom. The tree actually broke the fence. So once I got in there to try and tuck the wood behind the tree, the trunk of the tree curved away and actually went under the fence. So we had to cut bits out of the wood. So, but the hole in the fence is basically mended. And to be able to get at it, we moved the stuff on the thing. So it actually looks like the bench and the table are where they're supposed to be now. No, they're just put out of the way so that I could get to do the fence. So the big job. Hannah comes up with bright ideas. And this idea took me about 3 seconds to agree with. We've decided to take the bamboo down below the top of the fence. So all of that top part of the bamboo is going to go. You can see where it's been chopped. Well, you can. This was the problem. I mean, I got the hedge trimmer out and tried to sort of hack along here, but every time I came up against one of these, the hedge trimmer won't cut it. So Hannah was doing it with the pruning saw. But as I said, this part of the garden is in full sun most of the day this time of year. But you can see the size of some of the canes in here. We need a panda, that's what we need. But there's still a lot left. As I said, it's going to come down to that height. Now it'll shoot out and become green again, or it'll die. And I've made up my mind, I don't care which it does. If this clump of bamboo actually dies and no longer exists, I'm not going to care. I've had enough of it. And basically what's happened over the years is the overall height has gradually crept up to the point where we can't reach it anymore. So we can't maintain this clump of bamboo. So it's going to go. It's coming down to here. But as I said, this part of the garden's in full sun. This time of year it's in full sun because when the sun goes behind that big tree, it's actually, apart from a very short bit of time, high enough in the sky to be over the top of it. Well, soon, as the day length shortens, the sun gets lower in the sky and it will actually be behind that tree for the duration of from there right round to here. And at that point there'll be a lot more shade in the garden. So by the time next time Hannah comes down, which is in 4 weeks' time, that may have actually occurred. Because the rate of change with the day length is quite rapid at the moment. Now, Hannah was really apologetic. I'm sorry I haven't been able to clear all that up, Dad. I wanted to clear all that up. But I said, I can do that. I can come out here like either first thing in the morning or later in the evening when this is all in the shade. And the idea is we're going to tie this up in bundles and get it round the front, and then it can go up for recycling. And it's been thrown on part of the gravel bed that hasn't really got much growing in it, so it's not going to mess anything up. So this was Hannah's big idea. Why don't we just get rid of the bamboo? You can actually see through it now. You couldn't do that before. So you can see where the height of the fence is, and the idea is to bring it off somewhere near the height of the fence. Now my logic for keeping the bamboo was the privacy issue. It's the fact that, let's get somewhere up here. It's the fact that the upstairs windows in those flats look straight into the garden. And then Hannah said, well, those upstairs windows there look straight in the garden as well. And the logic just kicked in. At the end of the day, when I sit out in the garden, I'm behind the shed, as far as those flats are concerned. So I just said, yep. That's it, let's do it. But as I say, poor old Hannah got beaten back by the sun, basically. Can't work in that sort of heat, not physical work like that. But a lot of it will be the fact that the bamboo will be a lot thinner. We reckon that's come out 4 or 5 feet from the fence. Yeah, well, the front of the bamboo will be cut off near ground level. So it'll push the whole thing back. And that way the camellia that's there can be exposed so that it looks like a standalone, more like a standalone bush. At the moment it's just buried in the flipping bamboo. For the first 2 years when I moved in here, we didn't know that existed because it was buried in the bamboo. So there we go. That's the big job that didn't get finished. Next time Hannah comes down in a month's time, this area will be more shaded. Plus, next time Hannah comes down, we'll have 2 days. So the last 2 times she's come down, we've only had 1 day, because the time before we went to Burnham's for their orchid fair, summer fair, and then this last weekend just gone, we had the Orchid Society garden party. But next time she comes down, we'll have 2 days. Now we lose half a day on Saturday because I've got to go and get her and bring her back down here. But that's so that's what we got up to. And Hannah picked up a load of that cut off bamboo, the sort of smaller stuff without the big canes, brought it all over here into a big pile so that she could cut it up and put it in bags standing in the shade, because this part here where I am now never gets any sun. You see the where she cut all the bits off of the canes and put them in bags. They're ready to go round to recycling. So it's a big job, and when it's finished, most of that greenery, which we'll call a hedge, we have also discovered there's 3 different types of bamboo there. The one behind the red tree is actually quite a dwarf growing bamboo. Yeah? And then the one in the middle is a bit rampant. The one in the corner has got those huge big canes on. So we think there's 3 different types, none of which should have been planted in the garden. If you have a bamboo that's going to do that, you plant it in a big tub. You don't put it in the ground. That was the most stupid idea somebody had, but somebody probably just wanted green quickly. And the idea, oh, bamboo grows quickly. Yeah, of course it does. But then you're not here now, you don't have to maintain it. So there we go. An unfinished job, but nonetheless making a start on it makes me look forward to when it will be finished. And obviously the wisteria going along the top we can keep trimmed, we can manage that, and then that can round off at the corner, because quite honestly when Hannah got in the corner there, she said, Dad, there's actually more wisteria in here than there is bamboo, once we cut a few of the larger bamboos down. So basically that'll round off in the corner and then come along around the height of the fence along there. So we'll still have a nice green boundary, unless the bamboo dies, in which case well, it can just die, blow it. I really don't mind. The other good thing is the couple of self-seeded buddleias which got put in a pot, I didn't think would bloom this year, but they have. And this, ooh. So I trod on the edge of the paving, that's always a trip. This one's a nice colour. The other one is the white one. So one of each. And like I said, the amount of soil that's in that pot with these buddleias, they're going up in there. Well, we've got to dig a hole that big to put them in there. Well, that's going to raise the soil level. Plus there's other things that are going to go in there as well. So unfortunately my Himalayan honeysuckle is as good as dead. It's just not been able to cope with the heat. I think I can probably guess why. It's in the name. If the name is Himalayan honeysuckle, I would suggest it grows up quite high and grows quite cool and is not geared up to this sort of heat. And Hannah said the one that she took home from here has frazzled as well. So, so be it. But yeah, we've got a little butterfly enclave here. We've got the buddleia there that needs deadheading again. We've got the new one, that's just opened. We've got I forget what this is called, something like verbena, but this didn't get planted. This came up in the pot that the scabious is in. Well, I didn't put it in there. It's just appeared. But I like the plant and it does attract the butterflies. And then we've got the red valerian. So we've got a little butterfly area here. So that's nice. And they're using it. There's quite a few butterflies around this time of year. So there we go. And there's quite a few of the plants in pots that are going to go. Like this lavender It seems to be okay when it flowers, but the plant's gone. It's gone all woody and leggy, so it's much easier to get a £5 or £6 new plant and start again. But in that pot is a lot of the rose campion, so you know that needs taking out of the pot and planting up in the garden somewhere. All the rose campion in the planted border has died. It can't take that frazzling effect. The little bits that are back here have almost gone over. There's quite a lot of seeds in there. There's another clump there, so it's not lost in the garden, but yeah, we've got quite a good lot there, and there's a couple of rose campion plants in this pot as well. So yeah, so that's and my cuckoo flower is looking very frazzled. Hannah said hers is the same up her way, and hers gets more shade than mine does. It's just not, these plants are not geared up to the heat. This is a meadow plant in this country. Nice green pleasant land, which we haven't got at the moment. We've got a brown scorched rubbish land at the moment. So there we go. So that's the big job, partly done. There's more been done than shows, really. You can see how far in that Hannah has actually got where she's cut. And there's still more to do there. I might try and have a go at that myself, because to get at that properly, it needs steps. But it'll be the little short stubby steps, which are very, very stable. So I might try and do some of that myself before Hannah comes down next time. Because I'm sure when she gets down here she thinks I've done absolutely nothing, which sometimes is absolutely true. The red maple's probably going to lose its leaves soon. It's turning to autumn. Can't cope. You know, if you think they are understory Japanese forest plants in their origins, well, Japanese summers tend to be a bit wet, and if it's an understory plant, it's dappled shade. It's not in full sun like that. It's not natural. So that's what we got up to. That's what's still to be done. Nice blue butterfly. That'll be a holly blue. We don't get many other types of blues. Is he going to land? Well, that is very unusual for a holly blue to land on a flower. I will try and get a zoom. Because I can't flip and see where it is. I'll try and zoom, but as I said, it's very difficult with this lens. Oh, he's starting to fly now, so. But that's unusual for them to land on a flower. They tend to land on greenery. Strange butterfly. Well, I don't know whether that's in the shot or not, but it's too small for me to mess about with. But yeah, holly blues are the commonest blue butterfly in the garden. And, but I get common blues in the garden, and that's about all in the blues. So yeah, oh well. And the whites are around, the endearingly known as cabbage whites, which are small whites, which that one is, large whites, which it's all in the name, you know, they look the same as that but bigger, and then there's a green vein white which looks very similar till it closes its wings and it's got green veins on the underside, hence the name. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. It was not a bad day yesterday as far as work was concerned, apart from the end of the day, which was totally ruined. But if you want to find out all about that, you'll have to watch the Sunday chat on the Orchid channel, which is being filmed on Monday today, because it didn't get done yesterday. But yeah, the end of the day was not good. So anyway, I shall see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.